What is happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. And again, it's my fault why we're not on time. I had tech issues once again. It's just computer acting up, so I had to restart the whole thing. But we are here, all three of us. We're gonna have a great conversation today when it comes to just Netflix, our comic books. Obviously, big news dropped on who the creative teams are for Superman, Spider-Man issue. Just lots of fun stuff to discuss this week. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Of course, I have Comic Uno with me.
Hello.
And then we have a branch from Only Good Comics.
Hello, everybody.
And yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's take it away, guys. Let's start off. We actually have some news to discuss this time.
We do. I'm going to try saving the bigger pieces. Oh, one of my comics fell, but I'll pick that up. The bigger pieces for when we get a little bit more of a crowd. But we'll start with, let's do I never know how to pronounce the Vultramites. I think I pronounced it right for Invincible.
Sounds right to me.
And I was like, I think that's it. Coming for the Battle Beast series. Yeah. So I remember there was that cliffhanger from the last, it was like, who was the cliffhanger? I forgot. I know it was a person from Invincible. I didn't read it. I just know there was a cliffhanger from the last arc.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who it was now, too.
I think it was General Thrag.
That was
it General Thrag? Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense for
who that was at the end there.
Okay.
So, and that's what was the big cliffhanger about. Yeah. Oh my God, General Thrag and the Vultramites are going to be showing up in Battle Beast. So obviously it's not really a surprise that they're announcing this news, but maybe more of a reminder than anything,
Yeah. No, that's cool. We're going to see an extended version of that battle, right? So it'll be good to see them. It's been a while. I mean, obviously, aside from the animated series, it's been a while since we've seen the Viltrumites. So looking forward to
this. This is also a cool comment from Zargir6. Just started in comics in July and just got done binging like 6 months of this podcast. Excited to catch y'all live. That's pretty cool. You guys went through 6 months of this podcast. And yeah, we're live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We were slightly late because of tech issues this week, but we are usually live 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. Appreciate that though. Appreciate your viewership. Yeah. But yeah, I was reading a little bit of this article. So we're going to find out how he got imprisoned by them in the first place. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to that story.
And Battle Beast is returning in March. That's what it says too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you got that in March. All right. Let's move on to Jeff the Land Shark is teaming up with Daredevil, and I love Jeff. Jeff's a great guy, but there's too many Jeff titles. I will say I'll pick up this one because Kelly Thompson and the artist who did the original Jeff the Land Shark is doing this. But there's other spinoffs that Kelly Thompson's not writing, and then different artists. And I'm just like, all right, I like Jeff, but maybe it's too much Jeff.
It's what they do with any character that gets popular, though. They oversaturate. And, like you said, I don't read like a lot of the digital stuff. And, when it's collected, I'll sometimes read it. But this one, because, again, like you said, it was that creative team. And, she created Jeff and stuff. I'm kind of excited to read this one for sure.
I think I'm gonna pass. I love Jeff as a character, but like we have gotten so many of these like
especially
little one shots and mini series, and that's all this is a one shot, and it's like I don't know if I want to spend my $5 on on a Jeff one shot type of thing. I would rather see. Honestly, Jeff in like a team book like he once was like in West Coast Avengers or something like that, and get to see him on a more regular basis of that nature.
Yeah.
He was, I want to say, in a little bit of the last Gwenpool series, but not a ton that he made a, impression.
Right.
But let's do the Guardians of the Galaxy news piece, because the other ones that are after this are a bit more discussion-y. But there is a new Guardians title, and the cast members are a little surprising. We have Captain Marvel, Gamora, who, is someone who's usually on the Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Darkhawk for you guys, Amadeus Cho, and then the Cosmic Ghost Rider. Interesting team. Dan Abnett is writing it, who has written a lot of cosmic stuff in the past, especially for Valiant for many years. He was doing stuff for Exo Man of War. And
Well,
then
yeah,
the artist, and the
he
artist
did.
is Cello Fiera.
uh,
Mhm.
I was just
No,
gonna say he did the original Annihilation as well with
I didn't even think
Yeah.
about
with
that. Yeah,
Landsman. Yeah.
so that's interesting too. So yeah, obviously it's a writer who knows a lot about space.
Yeah.
I'd give this one a try because of Captain Marvel, honestly. I don't know if there's any other character here where I'm like, I need to try this out. But I will also say I think it's interesting that there's just so few Guardians here that are actually from the original Guardians besides Gamora.
Yeah. Like I didn't keep up with Imperial enough to know why they're together, but I'm excited to see Darkhawk in
Mhm.
any way I can get Darkhawk. I'm excited about that. But there's enough characters I like here, and I like Dan Abnett's Cosmic Marvel stuff, so I'll definitely try it out.
I didn't know if this came out of, I mean, I guess it does
I
come out
assume
of
it does.
Imperial,
Yeah,
I
but
think it says it in the article that it was Imperial.
I
maybe.
was like, I don't like, I didn't ever see any of those characters in from what I read from Imperial, but nevertheless, I'm going to try it out too. Just because I think I like that roster. I like how the roster
Mhm.
is different.
Yeah.
When you look at the characters, you got Carol Danvers, who's usually, this cosmic character. She's in space for a lot of the time. And then you got Darkhawk, which we don't see enough of him. So it makes sense that he's in there, right? And you got Gamora, who is the one guardian of the galaxy that's there. I think for the kick ass factor, you got Cosmic Ghost Rider, which I think he's kind of a cool character. And then you have at first I was like, oh, I don't know about Amadeus Cho, but he's the brains of the group.
Yeah,
So it kind
exactly.
of makes sense that they need
He
somebody there for the brains.
he's the brains and the comic relief at the same time. So it's
True.
kind of an interesting dynamic with him. Yeah.
And what's interesting is see the different comments from us and even the viewers. Like Kaio says that they're really excited for Amadeus Cho, and then you guys are like Darkhawk, and then I was like Captain Marvel. So I do
Yeah.
think it's an interesting roster that a lot of people are excited for different characters. So maybe that will make it substantial. And for Tyler Durden's question, I do mean the early 2000s, the 2000s Guardians of the Galaxy, just
Mhm.
because obviously there are the OGs, but at
Yeah.
least for me, when I think Guardians, I think I'm more thinking about the modern
I think
Guardians in that regard.
I think everybody does, especially because of the
Yeah.
movies, right? So
Yeah.
it's like nobody thinks about those original Guardians anymore.
Oh,
I don't
yeah. No,
even remember who
absolutely
was on
not.
it besides
It
Nova question mark.
it was like the original Guardians
Mm,
was like a future version of Justice from New Warriors, Marvel Boy.
mm.
He was like the leader, and then there were like weird characters like Yondu was part of it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't remember all the rest of the characters, but they were I don't know, it was a big '80s thing, and then they kind of retooled it, with the Star Lord and everything. So
I remember the 80s like comics too. And I was just like, I don't know. I thought they were kind of cool at the time because like I was into comics because I was like a
yeah,
kid, or the 80s, early 90s versions. And then it wasn't like until I got back into comics in the early 2000s with the current Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought, oh, wow, these guys are a lot better.
yeah, exactly. They
uh,
I know they had a series, but I didn't read a whole lot of it. I just they where it linked with New Warriors is where the connection made it for me because obviously
And they had
they had
that
Hasbro, yeah.
Galactic Storm,
Yeah,
yeah,
I did
event
read
that went
that.
on.
That
Yeah,
big
see, like,
crossover with the Avengers and all that, yeah.
yeah, yeah, like that thing was everywhere, and it had
Yeah,
like Quasar in it and
yeah.
everything.
There was a
Yep.
classic, thing where Hawkeye wanted to go into space, and it was, like, between him and US Agent and this whole thing, and they were battling over who got to go and all this stuff. That's a core memory in my brain as far as
Yeah,
comics go, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
we did have a question that I didn't add to the news, but I'll mention because it definitely is making the rounds. Tyler Durden asks, "Do you guys talk about Sarah Pacelli saying that she doesn't receive any royalties for co-creating Miles Morales?" The reason I didn't add it into the news is because this goes around every couple of years, which obviously it's a thing
Mhm.
that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
But it is known information that Marvel and DC does this, that they do not, it's a work for hire business model. They pay you for your work and then they own everything. That's like what happens when you work at Marvel and DC, which is why you're seeing contracts that are a little different every once in a while. I remember when Brian Michael Bendis went to DC, like when Naomi had that TV show, in his contract, he's like, I get royalties for making these characters. So I think it depends in your contract, but it's so rare. I remember the David Aja thing. That was like the biggest thing, that Hawkeye, the TV show's look was a lot because of David Aja's look from the comic book. So everyone's like, he didn't get anything. I don't even think he got his name mentioned.
No.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was like horrible. So that's the reason why I didn't put it in the news, just because it's something that we've seen a lot, but that doesn't mean it's right. But also it is kind of what you go into knowing when you sign those deals. It's like, I don't think they should happen, but that's what the business is currently right now.
Yeah,
That's Donny Cates didn't get a lot credit for Null when it went into the movie theaters.
Right. I didn't read a whole lot into this, but I did see something about Sarah Pichelli kind of saying that she was taken out of context in some of her comments and stuff like that, and to not use her as an example in your battles and your court cases and all that stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, no, I agree. It needs to change. And if that's also the contract they signed though. They know that going in too. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's the system's a little broken in that way. Yeah. It's very complicated.
Yeah. Because like, it's a business, right? Yeah. So it's like it is what depends on what contract you sign. And I will say they don't blur the lines on that contract either. From my understanding, it is like, okay, this is what I'm signing away when I do it.
When you think about the time period, like she was newer in the industry at that point, right? And so you're just like, oh my God, something that I work on is going to be, immortalized in this comic. You never think about how big it's going to be. I think people probably do now, but back then, it's just not a thought. It's just like I get to work on this cool thing, and then retrospect and all that sets in. It's like, oh, probably should have fought for more rights back then.
But I think if more people talk about it, like more creators, then hopefully there'll be opportunities for Marvel and DC to make those deals a little better, like some sort of percentage. It doesn't have to be 50-50, but could be 10%, could be 5%, whatever the deal ends up being.
Just something.
But I will mention, when you're going to the comic book store and you are buying your Marvel and DC books, but you really love these creators, that's why I recommend going to get those indie books, because that is the opportunity for those creators to have ownership and to make money.
That's why a lot of those writers write those indie books now, because of that particular reason.
Yep.
A couple comments here.
Oh, go ahead.
We had
the first one.
Oh, sorry. We'll do this one. Weren't the original Guardians from Venus or Mars or etc.? Maybe
they were from different places, because Vance Astro was human. He was from Earth, and he was the leader. I don't remember where the rest of them were from, but I think they were just a collective. They were from one specific place.
And then we had this one. It said, didn't know there was a Cosmic Ghost Rider, but he sounds cool. And that was created by Donny Cates. That's who created Cosmic Ghost Rider when he wrote the Thanos miniseries, I think it was, and that's when he was created. And he created Silver Surfer Black as well. So there was that. That's somebody who needs to return. Hopefully he does, but he did some good stuff, man.
I feel like he is getting ready to return this year, because I've seen him at comic shows. Like he's doing the Comic-Cons and stuff. So I feel like he's just kind of waiting to make that big announcement, but he's like around now,
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, someone said what happened to him. He had a lot of personal issues going on. Like he got into a car crash, so that's why that we have not seen him in a while. So that is pretty much what happened. So it wasn't like he quit comics. It's like literally personal life got in the way.
Yeah.
And now it seems like he's again doing better and getting back to it.
Yeah,
which would be cool. So that's unless there's more to say about the Sarah Pichelli thing, I think we're going to go into our big news pieces here. We won't do the big one yet, but we'll do, this is actually interesting. So retailers are reporting disappointing numbers for the second Batman Deadpool crossover, including Ron Hill, who is my comic book store owner for JHU Comics, was in this article too. And it's interesting because I told you guys, like when I went to the comic book stores, like it was the longest line I've seen, but it shows maybe it just didn't have an afterlife. It was just the people that were excited and that's it. And maybe, especially compared to issue 1, I think a lot of people honestly were disappointed in issue 1. I think because of the anthology side and having Deadpool and Batman that didn't really mesh very well. I think people kind of gave up on issue 2.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's like they, the hype was there for the first one, and then when they read it, it was like, oh, this is what we're getting. I think some of us, like we talked about on the show, we hoped that the DC side would be stronger, just because DC is putting out stronger stuff, by and large, right now. But even with that, it was just, I don't know, it just wasn't as good as it could have been.
I 100% agree. I was super hyped about the first one, and then once you find out that it was a bunch of anthology stories, I kind of lost that hype. But it was the first one from Marvel, and then you were just kind of like, and you read it, and you're like, okay, that's cool. But then what hurts the second one is you came out with that exact identical type of story as your main story, So I can probably guarantee you the second one or the next one with Superman, Spider-Man is probably going to do well because people are going to want to see that. They already read the Batman and Deadpool one
That's a good
twice,
point. Yeah.
and I think that's what it is. Plus, obviously, being that it is an anthology, I think it kind of takes away out of the main thing too, because you could have done other things. I know we discussed that already, but I think an anthology wasn't the way to go for this.
No, I wish they had just released a bunch of one shots. But go ahead, Kat.
No. All I was gonna say was in the comments we were just saying that it was just confusing because people thought they had already bought it. And I will say the covers were very similar, especially the main cover. I was even getting a little confused. I was like, wait, this is the second issue, right? Like it's supposed to come out this week. So it just didn't have an identity to itself. I honestly would have done this Spider-Man, Superman thing as the second part and not make this the second wave because we'll talk about it, but I don't know if it'll do well.
That's the only way they would have done it, though. Both companies had to have their take on it, right? They had to do it from their perspective, where their character was the star and all that kind of stuff. So they had to do it that way, which is ridiculous. But
and it wasn't much different. Was the issue?
No, not at all.
I got a comment right here. This is Ko's on my channel all the time. He goes, Mike, do you drink coffee? Yawn, because I've been yawning a lot on the show. I do it every week though, but I don't drink coffee. I can tell you that much. But I'm up at like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm up all the way through. And so plus I teach tennis from like 3:30, 4 o'clock all the way to about 8:30. Eat dinner, get ready, and then come on the show. So like when I sit down here, this is almost like relaxation for my body. So all of a sudden my body's like, oh, yawn, yawn,
Ready to go
yawn,
to sleep.
It's like, oh yeah, you're relaxing now.
Yeah, no, I think it was a week or two ago. I was yawning so much. I remember the next day I was like, I was like falling asleep, because it just depends on the week. Today, my day wasn't as back to back, but for the most part, almost every single Tuesday, work all day. We fulfill packages for a Kickstarter up until 9 o'clock. I might have dinner in between there, and then we go on the show. We used to start the show a little later, but which I think would have been even worse for us because we were always yawning. So, and Brian, you have a completely flipped schedule. So
yeah, I got up today. I actually got up a little earlier. I got up around 5:30 today, and then read the rest of my books and that kind of thing. So I typically sleep during the day, but it shifts and varies. I always have to flip for Tuesdays because I end up working it around to where I'm like sleeping until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night and then getting up. So I have to like make myself stay up and go to bed early on Tuesdays just so I can make this show.
We do it. And someone mentioned that we're all East. Well, for the most part, Brant, you are
I'm Central. Yeah.
Central, but it's only an hour. Yeah. But me and Mike are Eastern. So
I used to be
Eastern. Yeah. So by the time I go to bed, it's almost like 12:30, and then I gotta wake up at 5:30. And Wednesday's the busiest day because Wednesday wake up, take my daughter to school, come home, do a few errands, and that's comic book day. So then I go to comic book day, record the video for the haul, and then literally I gotta be at tennis at 3 that day. And so then I'll teach from 3 to 8. So it just like boom, 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 all the way through.
I'm curious, Mike. Do you drink caffeine at all, or just not coffee?
I drink the only thing I drink is like from Starbucks. I drink like a dragon fruit refresher,
Okay.
Which
but
I
I
don't think has
I
that much caffeine.
but I dilute it with water and extra ice.
Gotcha.
And then I drink those energy drinks from V8, but
Okay.
they're made with green tea. So
Yeah.
it's not like yes, tea has caffeine in it, but it's not like an Alani or something like that,
Right.
like a Monster or Red Bull or anything.
Yeah. Growing up in Kentucky and Georgia, I was addicted to sweet tea for most of my life, and
Oh man.
I never drank coffee until I hit 30. And for some reason, I needed to get through something, through a job, and I tried it and I never went back. So now I'm like, I drink coffee every day, but I only drink 1 cup a day. I'm not that bad.
Yeah, no,
My
1
wife
cup's not
drinks
bad.
2 like cups, like
Yeah.
iced coffee. Like she
Yeah.
makes them in the Keurig or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And she
Exactly.
morning and afternoon. It's like clockwork,
I,
man. It's crazy.
I do drink a little bit of energy drink, but I sip it. So I'll take a
Yeah.
sip here and there, but not
What do you drink?
5 hour. I know it's not
Oh, 5 hour.
terrible, but I do it. But
Not
I
for
don't
any of them
drink.
good for you.
No, but it takes me like 2 or 3 days to get through one. So it's like
That's
I'm
good
not.
advice.
I used to be worse. So, but not too bad.
Yeah,
And I don't drink the sweet tea anymore either. So
Yeah, you have
Sweet
to
tea's got
sometimes avoid
so
it.
much sugar though,
it
man.
does.
Jeez. Yeah, it does.
Sugar is good. No, it's not good for you, but it tastes good. Yeah, I stopped drinking coffee like 10 years ago because
Mm.
I get like a lot of palpitations with it. So I was like, oh,
Oh
this
yeah.
is combined. Yeah, this is connected. So I stopped drinking it. And
Yeah.
not for that. It's so funny because there's people that are so need their coffee. And yeah, I'm not. I like wake up and like start my day like right away, which is maybe not the best.
Yeah.
I'd rather have maybe 15 minutes to myself, but I like start my work day like right when I wake up.
I
But because I
get
work
that.
for my own business and
Yeah.
I wake up at 10:30 in the afternoon, I feel like I have to start because it's 10:30.
I'm weird with mornings or my mornings, whatever you want to call them, because and I know this is a sidetrack. This is the last thing, but
Yes, and we'll go to
um,
another.
yeah, it's weird when I wake up. It doesn't take me time. Like Lisa needs to lay in bed like for half an hour before she gets up, but I'm like I sit straight up and I get up, but then
No, me too. Yeah.
I'm so tired then, but I can't do anything. So I have to drink my coffee and sit down for like half an hour and just wake up that way. But I'm just like when I wake up, I'm like, boom, get up, out.
See, yeah, my alarm goes off and I have no choice because it's
Yeah.
like I gotta get my kid ready for school,
Right.
and it's like 5:30, boom, up, and then by 6:30 I'm out the door. And so
Yeah.
every day I leave super early, even on Saturdays. Like I gotta wake up at 6:30 to go to tennis, and I gotta be there. Well, I start a lesson at 8 a.m. So I gotta start that. And then the only day that I literally have is Sunday where I can sleep. I can't sleep. It's like 6:30 I wake up.
Yeah.
But to just like lay in bed and
Mhm.
not go anywhere and just chill. So then what I do is I wake up then and I just read comics. And so that's how I get my, finish my reading for the week. And it's just the nicest thing just to just chill for a little while and just not do anything because that never happens.
No, I feel, and this is actually an interesting question. Don't they have school buses in Florida? So in New York, they don't have school buses. You have to use a city
Really?
bus to go to school.
Wow.
Mhm. In
That's
grammar,
so
like in middle school and grammar school, you would get a yellow bus. But if you're in
Mhm.
high school, you don't get a yellow bus. You get you have to use the city bus.
So there's buses and school buses in Florida, but my daughter goes to high school and she like her sleep is super important to her because she's a dancer, and she dances, after school and she gets done at like 9:30 at night. So if it means her sleeping an extra half hour in the morning, that's huge. And I'll take her to school because the bus comes at 6:15 in the morning, and it's dark too, and I don't like
Yeah.
her being out
Safety.
there in the
Sure.
dark.
Yeah.
So I just rather her know her sleep schedule, wake her up, I'll take her myself, and that's that.
Yeah.
No, it's nice. And
Nothing wrong
I
with
think
that.
yeah, and everyone has their, like you were just saying, like everyone has their priorities. People have what's important for them. And I think
Mhm.
we don't respect sleep enough as a society. So I think we should respect if that's the thing that's important, then that should be the thing you get is sleep. But yeah, so that's our little sidetrack. We haven't had one in a while, which is nice because then you guys get to know us a little bit better too. So but let's get into our second biggest topic and then we'll go to our main topic, which is we were just talking about the anthology. So we're going to talk about the newest anthology, which is Superman and Spider-Man. They revealed the covers, but they also revealed the creative teams for these stories. So the lead story is going to be Mark Waid and Jorge Jimenez for the Clark Kent Peter Parker story, which I think is a great combo.
Mhm.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
Like it's so interesting, but I think it's because of our fandom. I'm so much more excited for this than Batman Deadpool, which is interesting because I love Batman, but I don't like Deadpool. Like very
Yeah.
rarely I like Deadpool. So it's like contrast there for me. Like I've been liking Superman currently and we love Spider-Man. So
Yeah.
anything with Spider-Man, I'm excited about.
Yeah, for sure. And Mark Waid, I mean,
No.
I'm just excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally excited. Does someone want to show the covers?
Yeah, Brant, why don't you show it? My dog's barking about something. Show the covers. The next, I'm gonna skip the Tom King one because I want to really be there to talk about that. But let's talk about Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber for Jimmy Olsen with the Carnage twist, and I'll be back.
Okay. I'm just pulling it up for you.
She's
Oh,
fun.
fine.
I see her from here because I was like, "Where is she and why is she barking?" And now I see her face, so she's fine. But yeah, the Jimmy Olsen one turning into Carnage, I feel like that's a really cool. That's a cool concept too.
It's kind of fitting because it's like he kind of fits the stereotype, like redhead kid. It's like very similar to Cletus Cassidy. But the first image was good. Second image looks pretty cool too, as well. That's a
I
nice
like this
cover.
one.
Yeah.
I love the facial expression there by Supergirl.
On the yeah. Can I zoom in? Let me see.
Interesting
This is
they
a
picked
great
Silk
cover.
though, and
Who
not
does that one?
I don't know.
Crane.
This looks like an older
Titan Crane, maybe.
Oh, gotcha.
It says Crane down there.
Spider-Man looks really cool there.
Oh, that one.
I didn't love that cover. You like that one?
I like Spider-Man in it. I
don't like Superman. Yeah, I like Spider-Man, but Superman his posture is a little weird.
Yeah, I like Spider-Man though. That's cool. That one's fun.
This one's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
This is good art.
It's
This
got
looks
Green
like
Goblin in there and Lex Luthor. That's cool.
that looks like the artist of Detective Comics, I think.
Yeah, I can't make it out. It starts with a J. It looks like.
Yeah, I think that's the artist of Detective. That looks like that's not Jim Lee, is it?
It says Jim.
I think that is Jim Lee.
That might be Jim Lee.
The coloring looks off for that one.
Yeah, or the ink. Something's
something's off there. That's fun.
Superman of Russia, is that?
Oh yeah.
I like that one.
The negative
like
space,
blue.
yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that one.
Old classic.
Yeah.
Love that
that's
one.
pretty.
Yeah, that's gonna be a seller.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Kind
Classic.
of classic too, yeah. Okay, we're back to the beginning.
We're back to the beginning, yeah.
Okay.
So going into the next, we'll talk about the Tom King and Jim Lee story. First of all, talk about Jim Lee. He hasn't finished Batman Hush. And he's like, I got to do a cover and I got to do a story with Tom King.
It's really piling up, man.
Love you, Jim, but man, dude.
Probably be delayed this book because of it. He wrote it on Facebook too. He's like, I'm finishing Batman Hush now. And like, can't wait for this book. I'm like, you're just finishing Batman Hush.
Oh,
that's
man.
crazy.
That is crazy.
Speaking of Tom King, I'm torn because like there's times where Tom King writes characters really well. Like I think about the Lois and Clark and Batman and Catwoman Carnival issue that we all really like. But then and I know obviously it's becoming a movie, but I did not love Woman of Tomorrow for Supergirl. I don't love his female characters very often. I feel like he writes them very similar to each other.
Mm,
They're all a little angry and a little existential, but maybe all his
that's
characters
true.
are that. Um, so I don't know how to feel that he's writing the Lois and Mary Jane story, but interesting combo.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool just seeing those two main ladies come together and interact
Mhm.
with each other. I mean, it could be fun. Like for like a story, it'll probably be decent, right? It's I feel like Tom King struggles a lot when he writes these ongoing series.
Mm,
I think if he has a mini series, I think if he has a maybe a one shot or something like that, he can do pretty good. But I don't know. Every time we've read his ongoing series, they seem to struggle.
yeah. I just my one concern is Lois Lane's a reporter, she's a writer, and I'm curious about the structure of this story, because we've seen poetry and we've seen different things from Tom
Oh God,
King. So
please no poetry.
yeah, I'm just wondering if there's gonna be a lot of narration in from her perspective, that kind
Oh
of thing.
shit.
I'm
No,
I'm
now you're
hoping
getting me
not.
worried
I know.
saying
I'm
those things like that.
Because it's just a one shot, I'm hoping it's just, it's not that. But yeah.
Yeah.
I hope not either, but we will see. It's just because it's Mary Jane and Lois. I was so that's a combo I'm really excited for. So it's
Yeah, for
just for
sure.
me, I don't know about the creative team, but
Yeah.
let's move on to Sean Murphy, who is doing the art and writing a Superboy Legion story and Spider-Man 2099. Fits for the creator. I don't quite care about either of those characters, but it's an interesting combo and it's different. It's a different side of both universes.
Yeah. They're both futuristic characters, so that works. It could be cool.
Sean Murphy, we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Especially on the big two. I feel like he's
No.
been doing his thing, but not on the big two as much.
Right.
Probably since White Knight, which would have been, I think, more interesting. It would be White Knight and Spider-Man 2099. But
Yeah.
we couldn't because of obviously it's Superman, but still think that would have been cool. Now,
So
next up, go
Oh,
on.
sorry.
No,
Go
no.
ahead. Go on. Talk about the story first, the next one.
So yeah. So the next one's Gail Simone and Belen Ortega, who I think has done some Robin stuff. And then it's Power Girl and Punisher. And I think that's
such a
such an
weird-
interesting combo.
Yeah.
Harley
So
Quinn
weird.
and Punisher, you said?
No,
Oh,
Power Girl and Punisher.
Power Girl and Punisher.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah. Now,
How does that even cross? Like, why?
I think it's gonna be great or horrible. Like it's gonna either be, it can't be in the middle because like it's gonna be
No.
either like, oh my god, that was so fun, or why did we put these two in the same room?
Right.
Jeez.
I follow Belen on Instagram, so I do like her art,
Mm.
but this is just such a weird team up.
Especially
Girl.
Punisher being for the Spider-Man side, because I mean, obviously it's a grounded hero, but like the rest are specifically Spider-Man characters.
Yeah. That's weird. I think
Oh,
maybe
that's
she
interesting.
did some of the Trinity Daughter of Wonder Woman stuff too.
Yeah. I know she's done like more, not cartoony, but
Yeah.
YA.
More yeah.
So that's interesting. All right, moving on to Christopher Priest and Daniel Sempre is doing Superboy Prime and Spider-Man for the Black Suit era.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a darker story. I think Christopher Priest could write that well, so I'm interested in that. And Daniel has great art.
Right, I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, love Daniel's art.
It's fine. I mean, I was about to ask you guys, like, my question was like, what's the hype meter on this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where it's going to be cool to see different characters. It's going to be cool to see Superman. It's going to be cool to see Punisher or Power Girl, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, how excited can you really get when it's just more anthology stories, where it's just more 3 pages or 4 pages or 2 pages? Like at the end of the last DC one where you had Ms. Marvel and Static, right? Like that one was like a 2-page story. And it's like, you're going to get that in this too. So like, how excited can you be? Like, you might love some of these covers, like the Superman and Spider-Man covers, like if you collect covers, but if you're looking for overall groundbreaking event or something like that. I mean, it's still, regardless, it's not going to be what we truly want at the end of the day. I think it'll be fun. I just don't think it's just short lived. It doesn't really mean all that much at the end of the day.
I think the only one that has promise because of the page count is probably Superman and Spider-Man. If they could do something interesting there. But yeah, the other ones, I think it depends how many pages, because I think the Wonder Woman and Captain America one was like about 15 pages or 10 pages, whatever it was. And that was a good story because it gave a little room. But yeah, am I as excited as Absolute Batman tomorrow? No. Am I more excited for this than Batman Deadpool? Yeah, just because it is Spider-Man.
But I think the problem is that we've already seen what they're going to do with the Batman Deadpool stuff. And it's like looking back to previous crossovers that they've done. It either was JLA and Avengers, which was like a 4-issue miniseries, or you had one shots with complete stories like Batman, Spider-Man, different things like that, or Punisher, whatever, or the amalgamation stuff. Those were more interesting, I think, because they were fuller stories. They weren't just these little tidbits and pieces and little backup stories and that kind of thing. I would be more excited for something like that as opposed to this.
Exactly.
At the same time, take what we can get, I guess.
Let Rainbow Rowell write all of it, because she's the only one who can write a one shot that feels like it means something. I do want to answer this question from Tyler Durden. If you're looking for anything groundbreaking, why are you reading DC and Marvel? And I would actually, obviously they're not doing everything groundbreaking, and there is a lot of repetitive storytelling, but I would disagree with that. I think the absolute line in general feels very groundbreaking for even the storytelling they're telling. Like with Batman issue 1 was talking about gun control, right? That's the whole entire story of Batman there. Venom, when you think of Donny Cates' Venom, it's a good story even outside of Venom. Hawkeye, from Matt Fraction and David Aja made a whole television show because of how unique that was, and it felt very indie in that way. So yeah, not every book is going to be revolutionary, but there's definitely revolutionary books out there. Even Spider-Gwen, if they look at the original Spider-Gwen, a lot of it was so musically influenced that the visuals felt like you were listening to a soundtrack. So yeah, I mean, I think you can be revolutionary with DC and Marvel. It's just not going to be everything.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, this is one of those things where I feel like when it comes to Marvel, I don't think anything's been spectacular as of late. I think they've come out with a lot of great stuff maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But as of late, nothing has really been like phenomenal. I think they're too focused and driven on just making miniseries, not really ongoing series. And hopefully they'll turn the corner in 2026. But DC has been really good. I mean, you just can't deny their recent, I guess, ability to create some good stories and getting people excited about DC. I mean, they were literally, honestly, they were dead in the water a few years back. And we all said that, we were like, oh, I hope DC does something, and they've turned it around. And that's why, we're all of us here, I'm sure, are very optimistic that Marvel can turn it around. I know people are like, yeah, they're part of Disney. They have a corporate they have an agenda. They just want to come up with books, and like, maybe that might be it. But I just, you got to hope that they got to sit there and they can't just stand there and never do anything.
No. And I think that the torch will be passed. Like, I truly do believe DC changed because of Scott Snyder came into this role of let's make creators go first and kind of helmed it. And then James Gunn, I will be honest, I think James Gunn's like, oh, it starts with the comics. Let's make sure the comics are doing good. Let me promote these comics, And
Dan Didio leaving, obviously.
And honestly, truthfully, Dan Didio leaving was a big part. I would say that at Disney, it's been a lot of the same people, or Marvel, it's been the same people for 20 plus years. So of course it's going to feel the same. And look, do I think the mouse is controlling Marvel to tell their specific stories? No, but I think Marvel feels obligation to tell stories that are connected to the MCU in some sort of way. So they buy their comics. And I think that's happening.
Yeah. I think that that drives the editorial mandates of keeping certain status quos and things like that as well. But that's not to say that people at Marvel aren't passionate about comics and good stories and everything, and just not everything's for everyone, and their stuff right now is not always for us. That's all.
And I want
But
to mention Dynamite, who said, "Glad you all have hope for Marvel. I have none for
yeah,
them." Everything ebbs and flows. That's something, if you've been
exactly.
reading comics long enough, you know that DC won't be at the highest heights forever. It will switch. That, like, things have to change, but in the next 20 years, yeah, Marvel is going to change something for sure, or else they're going to go bankrupt.
It's very rare for both of them to be hitting on all
At the
cylinders at
same
the same
time.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But competition breeds success. Competition breeds, pulling out all those stops and everything. So DC getting better is only going to eventually make Marvel better, and vice versa, and so on and so forth. And that's why it's
and
good to have options.
and all these other publishers too, like the
Yeah,
Energon universe,
exactly.
I'm sure is
Right.
pushing Marvel and DC. And we heard it from a lot of these creators and retailers. This is the biggest comics has been in a really long time.
Hmm.
The sales are tripling and quadrupling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll get back to Marvel as much as we could criticize for sure. But
Yeah.
I don't think we'd be talking about the big two as much as we do if the big two were not doing anything new, or at
Yeah.
least doing anything inventive. Like, there's no new stories. There's like 5 new stories in the world, but there's new perspectives to tell those stories,
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
DC and Marvel are doing.
Also, we just love the characters. We love, Spider-Man. We love, Green Lantern, whatever the case may be. We just love those characters. We grew up on those characters, so we want to read those characters.
And that's what I love about comics is that you can watch a TV show and, people age. So like you can't last 10, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
It's just not, unless you're like a reality show, like Top Chef or whatever,
Right.
or The Simpsons, that's more of like a voice show. But like, I love that I could read Spider-Man from the 1960s and see how the world has changed through Spider-Man. You're going to be telling more modern stories from Spider-Man's point of view, even if he's the same age. We as a society have changed since the 1960s. So of course
Yeah.
Spider-Man's going to change. And I think
Yeah.
that's cool. And that's what Marvel needs to continue to do. Like, that's why Spider-Man's been so frustrating to us, is like, the world is changing around you. Why are we not doing more with it? Like, something that annoys me a lot with the girlfriend character, whatever her name is that
Shay.
Shay, like, I think there's a really interesting story to tell about modern dating, right? And they just decide not to do it, or they scratch the surface to a level where it's just like, oh, I guess there's modern date, this is what modern dating is, and then that's it. But I was like, oh, that's interesting that Peter is single. Why don't we see him going on apps, or getting tired of apps, or dealing with like, oh, we're not exclusive? I think there's really interesting story there that they're not fully exploring.
They're not exclusive because he just hooked up with an alien chick in
Yeah, that's
space in the
true.
most recent
Definitely
issue.
not exclusive, but the conversation about not being exclusive, they have like 2 sentences in the whole run where they're like, I don't like it's Shay being like, I don't like you. I don't know. I'm with you. We're not exclusive, but there's no like in-depth conversation about what does that mean? Like, I think that's more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do agree with Tyler Durden that the big two has to do a little bit better with representation, and I think that Image Comics does it in a way that feels like it's coming from a perspective. I think a lot of times we've talked about Marvel and DC's like, let's do this character because like it'll get us in a headline. It's like, no, you want that character. Like, Runaways is a great example for characters done really well diversity wise, and it's like, oh no, these are characters that are just telling their stories, and like, you need diversity, but you also want to have diversity because these characters need to tell their stories. So I do think that the big two has to do a little bit
And
better
there's a
with
way
that.
to do it too, where it feels really integrated into the story, and it's not like hey, we pushed this button and we made sure we did this. Like, it feels like it's forced on you, you know. Almost like, I'm gonna make this example for like the Wiccan book this past week. Like, every 5 seconds it was like, hey honey, hey baby, hey
I
honey, oh my
know.
god,
Yeah.
are you okay, honey? It's like, bro, we know you are in a relationship. Anybody that has known anything about these characters know that they're together, and you don't need to do it on every single page. It was
I
like,
was so frustrated by
they were
that.
like, they made them like they were like 14-year-old, 15-year-old teenagers in their first ever relationship. That's how frustrating
And
that
they're
was.
married. They're a married couple. But I give an example of Everything Dead and Dying that does a queer relationship so freaking well. And it's just like, it's part of the story. Like it's so well written. Which is interesting that writer actually, I didn't connect the dots until 2 weeks ago or this week. That writer writes Batgirl currently. I'm like, oh man, they feel like such two different titles. Like Batgirl does feel like it's kind of the wheels are turning and nothing's has been happening for a while. But then Everything Dead and Dying, the pacing is so great for that book. So yeah, I think the answer is, of course, we need more diversity because look at the world around us. And I want more diversity, but I also want it to be told in a really organic way and a meaningful way. And that's to other characters as well. Like I want Spider-Man to be telling organic stories. Like I think that's the answer. And of course, like an Image Comics or Indie Comics going to do better at that because those writers feel passionate to tell that story, to create that story. You know, like for Big Two, a lot of times, sometimes it's just the editor saying, oh, we need this story. Can you write it? You know? So it's not going to be as personal to them as an indie title that someone created and is pitching themselves. Ending the story with Superman and Spider-Man, the ones we have left is Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott are doing a rivalry between the Daily Planet and Daily Bugle. And I find that to be so fun. Like, I love that creative team. I love journalism stories. So,
yeah.
See, I could even see that being a 4-issue miniseries at least.
Yeah.
Like that just would sound like a very funny and hysterical thing of them just battling it out with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the last, go on, Brent. Do you have any
I was just going to
thoughts?
say that'd be fun, you know, especially if it was J. Jonah Jameson involved there.
And the last one I think is going to be really fun. And that's Jeff Lemire and Rafa Sandoval doing a Pa Kent and Uncle Ben story.
I like that.
Especially with Jeff Lemire. I think it's a really cool writer to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is our Superman Spider-Man conversation. We are going to go into our main topic and then we'll go into the mini comics that came out this week. We have the Warner Brothers is being bought by somebody. Netflix was the first, okay, this is what's going to happen. And then Paramount was like, well, actually, we want Warner Brothers as well. And I think what's interesting is that there's two very different paths with this. If Netflix takes over, I think it's just like, oh, it'll be interesting to see them utilize the Netflix platform to make TV shows and stuff like that. Paramount, on the other hand, if that happens, I think IDW's got some shaking up to do because then Paramount, what happens to those deals with TMNT and Star Trek?
Yeah, I was reading some of this while we were talking, and it looks like Netflix wants Warner Brothers and HBO, while Paramount came in after that and was like, okay, we want to buy the entire company. So it's like, and they came in with a cash offer that was a little bit higher than what Netflix
it was like
offering.
$17 billion or something. Yeah.
Imagine having that money.
17.6 billion.
It's all through obviously
stocks
market share and stocks and all that stuff, you know. It will be an interesting thing. Obviously I have a feeling like the government's going to get involved in it, of course.
They have to with
monopoly.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just to think about it, how, you know, big Disney has gotten over the past, you know, couple of decades with everything that they've snatched up, and now this. And I was talking to Lisa about this the other day. I was like, I never thought I would sit here and see this, what was formerly just a DVD rental, you know, company, now positioning to purchase Warner Brothers. That's insane.
You would think it's the other way around.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
It's crazy. And again, I'm curious what this is going to mean for DC Comics as a whole, because we were mentioning earlier, did Disney buying Marvel change things? And in some ways it did. Again, I don't know how much, you know, Bob Iger is like, oh man, I'm going to go to the Marvel offices and tell them what to do. Right. I don't think it's that. And I think people were fearful that Mickey Mouse was going to be in every Spider-Man comic. That didn't happen either. But I like I said, I do think it's Marvel wanting the MCU to be happy. I think they want to make content that's connected to the MCU in some ways. In some ways, I think maybe some of their less indie style comics maybe is because they're following the Disney machine a little bit. So do I think DC is going to be affected by this? I don't know. I think that because James Gunn's the head of Warner Brothers, I don't know if it will, because that's
Yeah.
kind of what they're focusing on.
See, the thing is with Disney and Marvel, I was never one of those that was afraid that that was going to happen with
Mm.
Mickey Mouse and all that stuff. I thought that was ridiculous. They wanted the property so they could do things like parks and other
Mhm.
bigger things, merchandising things, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's the same reason they got Star Wars. They wanted to do a Star Wars park and all this stuff. That's their motivation in it. I don't think as far as Disney has evolved and all the other subsidiaries they have, I don't think it's as okay, we got to keep everything family friendly like it used to be like
No,
years and years and years ago. Um,
they're not
so
using X-Men and Fantastic Four when they didn't own it,
right,
though. I think that's something that was affected.
that's true. That's absolutely true. That was a interesting time for Marvel. So yeah, it definitely had some certain effects, and depending on who has the rights to different DC properties or different rights to media or merchandising and all that kind of stuff, it could hang some stuff up in that regard too. It's gonna
Especially
be
IDW. That if it's
yeah,
Paramount, I think that's going to be really interesting once those licenses expire to IDW.
yeah.
It's like, would they go to DC Comics instead?
Mm,
I mean, when it comes to comic side of things, I mean, obviously, I don't think like they're in it for the comics.
right.
Right.
I think it'll be obviously probably business as usual. It's just that
Mhm.
Netflix owns them, and then they'll have their people obviously say, "Hey, you take care of this, the comic side of things." Now, what they would do with the digital side of things might be something different. What if it went to Netflix, you would have DC Comics on your Netflix account and you can read digital comics that way. Like they have games now on Netflix that you
Yeah.
can play, right? So why not add the comics there and you can read on Netflix? I mean, you can watch it, you can read it on your TV, you can read it on your phone, you can read it on your tablet, you can read it all the way. What if that's part of your Netflix subscription, you know?
I could see that or as an added thing that you can add on to it. Yeah, and I could also see them potentially getting involved with like more features, more animated stuff that goes
Yeah,
straight
for
to
sure.
Netflix,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So that could be
Like,
interesting.
there's a lot of movies and animated shows and all that other stuff
Yeah,
that they can acquire that way, you know?
yeah.
I think that's kinda cool.
And they
I
put
think
out a lot of animation already. Netflix does. But go ahead, Kev.
especially K-pop Demon Hunter and all that. But I was gonna say, I
Yeah,
think the best thing for comics would be that Netflix thing, though. Like if they had a widget where it's like you
yeah.
could read the comic after, that would be crazy.
Oh
That would
yeah,
change comics forever if they could do that.
And I
So
get
I guess let's hope Netflix wins.
yeah,
and I get that it's like obviously, it's like a monopoly, right?
Sure.
But think about all the different subscriptions and all the other stuff that we have out there. Would it really be that bad if they just went to Netflix and you just play one fee for that? I mean, that would
yeah.
be a
Well,
lot
the up
better.
the
I
fee,
mean,
because that's what
what?
That,
monopolies do, is then they don't have competitions. They'll be like $500 for
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah, I know. It would be crazy. I mean, because you just look at everything out there. There's so much of it, man. It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah. Someone asked this. Dino Might says IDW's partnered with Valiant as well. Yeah, but no, they're only partnered for distributing their books. So
Yeah.
they help them distribute the books. But other than that, they're like creatively are not attached to each other. They're just
Yeah.
more attached to how do they get their books to the comic book store. So that's about it. Yeah, I mean, let's wait and see what happens, but it's definitely big news, and we'll continue to report on it as it goes on. I have a feeling we're not going to get a straight answer until after Christmas
Oh
anyway. I
no.
can't see it
Yeah.
Yeah.
closing until after
No. It'll
that.
be in the new year, I'm sure.
And
Yeah,
by the
so
time it all goes through, even if it goes through, it's gonna take a while.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Even the
Yeah. It's
Discovery thing, when that happened, it took like a year, I want to say, when because Warner Brothers bought Discovery or Discovery bought Warner Brothers. I don't remember what it was,
what.
but it
Yeah. I
took a
don't remember
while.
which way it was. It was
Or
probably
when
Warner
Disney
Brothers
bought
because their name
Fox.
comes first. Yeah.
Would
And
yeah.
and like when Disney bought Marvel and stuff, that took a little
Mm.
while to go into effect as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So That is the news there. I do have a couple of Kickstarters, so we're going to talk about those, and then we are going to go into some comics. So first up, I'm going to talk about our long-running series, Slice of Life. It's about an anime character comes to life, falls in love with a high school cheerleader. So if you enjoy Slice of Life storytelling, if you enjoy anime or just stories about life, I recommend the book. So I will send that one in the comments. Then we have again to Witches of Oz, which is Glinda and the Wicked Witch finally get together. So if you enjoyed Wicked, you might want to check this out. They go to Kansas, which is pretty cool. That one only has 2 more days left. And then we are going to the next one, which is Moloch, which is written by David Boer. So he wrote Specs, he wrote Rain. Those are series we talked about here on the show. And this is about the son of the devil getting kicked out of hell and finds a ragtag team of people, kind of like this character here. That's like the character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So go check it out. There's some cool comics to buy for the holidays. So now we're going to jump into our comic books, which there was a lot of comics this week.
Mhm.
Yes, definitely a lot of comics for sure. However, we're going to try to go through it pretty quick
Yeah,
because
so-
we got about we have about 45 minutes before time is up. So here we go. Big books in our top 5. We're going to kick it off with Doctor Strange issue 1. Not reading it going forward, just personally my thing. So
I
not
skipped
into the
that one.
magic thing. I did give it a try. I like Angela as a character. I thought their team up was kind of cool, but the overall story just didn't do it for me.
I thought it was a well constructed story. It was well told. The art was nice.
Art
But
was good.
yeah, and I think they did enough to fill in the gaps if you didn't read the previous Doctor Strange series to catch you up to where things are at and why he's where he's at and stuff. But at the same time, I agree with you. I don't think it's a story for me personally, so
Right.
I don't think I'll be continuing either.
Kat, did you
I didn't read it, so
Oh, you marked
I
it.
skipped it.
You
Oh,
have
did
a
I
mark
mark it
on
down?
it.
Yeah, you
Oh.
marked it.
I
Yeah.
didn't read it. So
Okay.
I was
That's why I was
surprised that
like,
you
jump
read it
on it.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about a book we all read, you know?
Yeah.
I should have picked up on that one, but I was like, I didn't read that.
All right. Brant, G.I. Joe issue 15. Here we got War Pig. Is that
Road Pig, yeah.
Road Pig? Yeah. Road Pig coming across the Cobra Commander and Duke here, and he ties them up, and then you got all the other dreadnoughts that show up, and it was cool. And what I liked about it, especially, was the Cobra Commander moments without his helmet on. You
Yeah.
got to see kind of like a little silhouette of like what his face looks like, but you don't
Yeah.
see it
Yeah,
completely.
like another eye up here or something weird like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I don't think a lot happened in this book. It
No.
wasn't like my best or favorite issue, but it still was really good and enjoyable. And I like how the book ended on how, like, okay, Duke's been missing. We got to go after and find him now.
Yeah, and Clutch being like, I got somebody that can help us, so we're finally gonna get the Transformer involved as well, is what I assumed he was talking about. So, yeah, no, it was a fun issue. It's always a good issue. I agree with you. It wasn't the best issue, and it wasn't a whole lot that happened, but I love the fight. I love Road Pig with the cement block,
Yeah,
sledgehammer thing that he has,
super
and
cool.
the look that they went with the mask and everything that he had on and stuff. It just looked cool. It was like Mad Max kind of, and that he wasn't already a dreadnought. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, fun stuff, fun issue.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so then let's go to the book that we did discuss or did all read.
Yep.
I did read
DCKO
this.
Superman versus Captain Atom issue 1. This was fun. I liked it. I thought it was really everything that I kind of expected from like these one shots, Obviously, this was the predictable issue. It's like Superman, I don't think he's going to get knocked out in the, first individual issue, but he did lose a round and he was hesitant in the beginning and he got his ass beat in that first round. But I just kind of liked the interactions between the characters, and obviously like how Captain Atom wind up getting corrupted by the Heart of Apocalypse and things like that.
Yeah.
Pretty solid artwork within the book. Overall, fun, excellent story.
Yeah, no, I echo all that. I think if this is what all these one shots are going to be like, they're going to be great. I think it was really well written. I think I like that we had a little bit from Captain Adam's point of view, so we get a little bit more of that emotional story point. And yeah, I didn't love how predictable it was, but I don't know if they would have went another way.
Yeah, I like that Superman eventually outsmarted him and kind of saw where his moves were headed and stuff. And you're right, he was like infected by the heart, and he was kind of being manipulated by that. But at the same time, he had that same kind of stance as Lex Luthor. I can do the things you're not willing to do, and
Yeah.
maybe that's foreshadowing for future battles with Superman. But at the same time, Superman, won the day in this case. But I think that's kind of like a what do you call it? A red herring a little bit, kind of giving us a false sense of, oh, Superman's going to win this, and he's not, kind of thing. So, but we'll see.
Yeah,
That's what we all think anyway. So,
yeah, exactly. All right. So with that being said, let's go on to our number 5. And Kat, what was your number 5 this week?
Mine was Superman versus Captain Atom. So we already talked about it.
What about you, Brett?
mine was G.I. Joe.
Okay.
Right.
So you already talked about it.
Yeah.
And mine was G.I. Joe also.
Oh, nice.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, imagine. Well, it wouldn't have been Doctor Strange, but imagine.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
no
funny.
way. Doctor Strange is not even close.
I did
All
see
right.
this comment real quick that was about that topic.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify. They were asking, what is a hostile bid? They thought Netflix had it and everything. So basically, Netflix did have the bid, but Paramount, who had been in previous conversations with them, came in with a higher offer. And that's where the hostile comes in. They, instead of just purchasing portions of the company, they want to purchase the entire entity. So that's what it's all about. So, yeah, I just want to clarify that.
Good clarification.
All right. So let's go on to, let's see. Ultimate Universe 2 years in, issue 1.
As someone who does not read Ultimates, I honestly could care less about this
Bro,
issue.
what was this book though?
Right.
Seriously. This was no disrespect to anybody that did like this book. Just let me put that out there. But for me, I'm like, what am I reading? What
So it
is-
had nothing to do what was going on in Ultimates, because
No.
I thought I had missed something.
With one issue of Ultimates eons ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It was the Ultimate Guardians of the Galaxy from the future. And it was a story that tied into America's debut into the book.
Yeah.
And that was
That's
like,
it.
what, issue 4 or something like that? It was really early
I think
on.
it was a little further along.
Was it a little further along? Okay.
My
bad.
something says that my brain wants to say 14,
14,
but
okay.
I could be completely off. That's just
But why
okay.
was
Somewhere between
Daredevil
4 and 14 then. Yeah.
Why was Daredevil in this? Because this is his first appearance, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess he's a guardian in the future. I don't know.
And I think the
Yeah.
only connection to the end of the world is that they have inklings that the world is ending. Other than that, there's not much else in this issue, I would say.
It made
But
very
see,
little sense to me. But
The
yeah.
thing that made this book so, I hate to say it, but bad, was because when you read the Ultimates at the end of year 1,
Yeah.
it tied into everything that was going on. Like Nick Fury, how he was a life model decoy, how the Maker constantly, put this life model decoy through this torture every time. And it had to do with the council. It had to do with everything. And now it's just like, here's a random Guardian story that makes no sense with a cosmic Daredevil. It's like, seriously?
No, I completely agree with you. It was in some ways nonsensical. In other ways, it was just, I don't know how that relates to anything. It didn't really make any difference. What they tried didn't work anyway. So I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird story.
Yeah, I didn't understand why focusing on these characters, because I agree. I think I read year 1, or maybe you guys talked about year 1. It feels like I read it, but I'm pretty sure I read it and be like, oh yeah, it's not for me. But there's some interesting stuff happening here. We'll see where the end game goes, but I hope it's not this tone. I hope it's actually
No.
showcases what the end is gonna
This-
be.
this was nothing like Ultimates is.
No.
Ultimates is nothing.
Same writer though.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Not the same writer.
That one issue where the Guardians showed up, it wasn't my favorite issue, and the tone was different than this though. This was weird.
This is a interesting comment too. Mr. Negative says also, why introduce new characters when the universe is only 6 issues? And I agree.
Good point.
Like, focus on the characters you've already done. I want to answer this question quickly, and then we'll go to the next thing. But pretty much all around sports is asking us if we're excited for the Spider-Man Venom Carnage crossover. I think we're all excited to see what it's about. Will it be good? I don't know, but I think we're excited.
It's been a while since we had a Spidey event,
Right.
so I'm hoping that it's going to be a solid one at least.
Yeah, same.
All right, so that was the Ultimate Universe. So let's talk about Batman issue 4. This one introduced the new villain by the name of Minotaur, and I thought this book was good. I liked it. Obviously, we get to see Batman here with maybe possibly a new love interest. She was introduced in the very first issue,
and I liked her.
Briefly.
I
think her personality was fun.
Yeah, her personality is cute. I liked it. And I do like the villain too. I thought he was very intimidating, doesn't take shit from anybody. I was like, oh, I want to read more about this guy. And it was a little bit slow, the book, and you didn't get to see a lot of Batman, but that was okay. I think it's starting to build up to something kind of cool.
Yeah. The 6 fingers thing was interesting. At first I was like, was it 7 fingers?
Yeah, or 6 fingers and a thumb, if you want to say that.
At first I was like, is this did they not catch this in editing? And then it's like, oh, okay, they're showcasing it more than once. Okay, this is the thing.
Everything was surrounded by 7.
Yeah. The Tauros thing or whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah.
I think something that's interesting about this series is that it feels like every issue is very its own thing, but then you have moments like that, or you have little sprinkles where it's like, no, this is going to be a bigger picture. I'll say I thought this issue was a little weaker than what we've been getting, but I still really like this series, and I think there's a lot of interesting pieces to it.
And to your point, that's what he said the series was going to be like. That each issue was going to be kind of not really a one and done thing, but it was going to have a complete beginning, middle, and end, and tie into a larger story. So he's successfully doing that at the very least. But yeah, a little slower issue, but I did like some of those moments. I like having all the family members, the Penguin up there, and kind of taking them out, and then the thing with Bruce and the woman. I can't remember her name, but
I can't remember her name either.
Yeah, I can't either.
Not yet.
The woman on the treadmill, doing work
with
at
the
same time.
glasses. I thought, and to your point with what Matt Fraction was saying, I think that's more comics should do that, because obviously, again, every comic could be someone's first comic, and I think this does a really good job at getting you into the story without feeling lost and picking it up wherever you want to pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Brant, Rookie Exodus. So this issue was great, man. I just absolutely loved it. I loved how their backs are against the wall here, and they're kind of all fighting each other to get Direwolf's father, and then the arachnid comes along and he captures them with the spiders, and they're all taking an out-of-body experiencing certain situations. And then basically what has happened to Direwolf's father has happened to the arachnid spider as well. And you find something out that happens at the end of the comic as a huge twist. And I was like, wow, that all makes sense now.
Yeah. With the spider.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. That was
how
that was a revelation. Yeah. I was okay.
I never even thought about
that
how
happening
the world would fail.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That changed everything. It's like, oh, is there more of this happening then? It's like, okay. And it gives voices to things that we may not have known had voices. So that was, it was really interesting. Try not to spoil it for anybody that hasn't read it, but it was a really interesting twist. I like that. And then we also had a new character pop up that came up and was petting the pig. So potentially
Oh
maybe
yeah, that was a
yeah,
kid, right?
yeah, potentially maybe a new warden. Who knows? You
Yeah, I
know?
don't know. He's just like some normal person. I'm like, wait a
Yeah,
second. We have a normal kid living here?
yeah. But the pig has no warden, so who knows? But
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. But it was interesting to see, this kid come into play and like what their role is going to be in it all as well. So yeah, great issue.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. All right. So then with that, let's talk about our number 4. So we'll go back to Kat once again. What was your number 4?
Mine was Absolute Green Lantern, issue 9. I enjoyed the back and forth with Chase and Joe. I thought that was really interesting. My only nitpick was the art. They changed it.
Mhm.
I wish they didn't change the artist, but I did like this issue, and I like that it's building to go somewhere. Can you trust Simon Boz, but also like something's going on in the background of like, oh, is other people patrolling this situation? So I think there's some interesting elements here.
It's interesting that he has to wear the mask, and I
Yeah.
wonder if that was a creative choice because we might not have recognized him because we
Mm.
don't see him a lot without the mask in the
No,
main
I feel like it
continuity.
had to be because yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. They probably was like, oh, would they notice? But then you're also
right.
saying his name, so you would be like, oh,
Yeah,
that's enough.
but
Would you
still, yeah. Go ahead.
What'd you guys think about the villain, the gold face character?
I'm excited to see
I
what's gonna happen. I don't think we have enough information, but
Yeah, I thought the character was interesting because he just sprays that thing and it changes his. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who he is in main DC, like if he's
yeah,
somebody that we know.
or
Um,
see new.
yeah. So I think that's interesting. It's an interesting take on that character, whoever he is. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought it added some tension. It did take the
Mhm.
book to a kind of a different, I guess, direction
Yeah.
Mhm.
in very
More
many ways.
grounded,
Huh?
Mhm.
more
More
grounded.
grounded. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so now I'm like, okay, so now we went from, like, this crazy space adventure to this love, getting to know the characters, this love drama show. Now we went to the, like, investigation type of series, and then you got
Yeah. Mystery and
someone
all that.
chasing them. So it is a little bit all over the place. I'm still trying to figure out if I like it, but I'm trying to figure out where are we truly going with all this.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a little hard to tell at this moment. I do like the pieces, but I think that's what we're getting. We're getting pieces and it's not all together to give us the full picture yet.
And I
But
think
Correct.
it was
Yeah.
hard when it's a different artist because that makes it
yeah,
feel a little disjointed.
yeah,
Which is why it wasn't higher because there were a lot of interesting beats, but like when you do have
yeah.
a different artist, it's like, oh, it takes you out of what they're trying to do here.
Mm.
We do have a question or a comment by All Around Sports. My main prediction for 2026 comics is Marvel will reboot with Armageddon series, but shipping Captain America will be a top book in 26. I will say, and I don't know, if you've been reading comics for a long time, Marvel will never, ever, ever, ever reboot. It's just not in their DNA. The reason DC did it so many times because they have done it so many times. So I don't think that'll happen, but they've relaunched before, so that maybe they'll go in a different direction. But I don't see rebooting.
There's no
happening.
reason to reboot. They come
Yeah,
out with new number ones all the time.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
new
there's no
directions
reason
with
to
them.
do it. It's just like they can change the character's personality or how a writer wants to write them, and they do it anyway. There's no reason to do it.
The reason to reboot is if you're wanting to clean up your continuity, if things have gotten out of hand and you want to just kind of reset. And Marvel, they're not as concerned with
Mhm.
continuity, which and I feel like they've actually said publicly that they wouldn't do that. So
No, yeah.
but take that with a grain of salt. I don't think they would. I think it'd be interesting if they did, and it would definitely make headlines, but I don't think they will.
No, especially if the New 52, like it
Yeah,
wasn't successful in the end, and that's the most
right.
successful reboot we've seen.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. What are we talked about? Where were we?
I think
just
we're
Well,
at
lost
yeah,
my
I
the
was on
number
my number
4.
4, so
Yeah.
it's your turn
Oh,
now.
okay. So Bram, what's yours? Because we talked about Green Lantern. That's what it
Mhm.
was.
Mhm.
Yeah. cool.
Make a decision.
Yeah. You know what? I'll go with Batman. That's what I have written down, but I was thinking about changing it. So I'll go with Batman.
Gotcha. Mine was Speed Racer issue 5.
Okay. That's a good
So
one.
when it came to Speed Racer, it's the end for now. From what I've heard from Mad Cave, there is going to be a future for Speed Racer. It just hasn't been announced when in 2026 you would get another volume. But
Okay.
really great conclusion to this story arc or this volume. Obviously, Speed Racer wins his race. You know, he wins his money.
Yeah.
But at the end, what made it good was like his father wakes up and
Right.
he like gives him his blessing that he can race, and it was just I actually shed a tear in that. I felt very happy for the Speed
Yeah.
Racer family. You know, I really enjoyed it.
It was a very emotional closing. Yeah, especially when you pan to Racer X and the reveal, which we knew, but new readers might not have known that or put that together. And that's cool to see them get that happy ending, even amidst all the sadness and drama that they started the story with. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
cool.
been it was a really good series. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it
definitely
coming back.
surprised me for sure.
Me too.
Okay. So let's go on now and let's talk about Murder Podcast issue 3. So Kat, you read this obviously with me. For me, this issue was a little bit weaker. It's not to say that I didn't enjoy it though. I just felt like there was too much romance happening in the comic. I'm like, I don't need 8 pages of two people sitting around a table drinking coffee, having conversation, and then sharing an intimate kiss at the end of it. I was like, that's enough. But I do like how it ended, how the group of people came together saying, you know what, we're going to solve all these murders that are actually happening. And then you do get that opening sequence of the little kid like killing his mom. Like that was kind of dark.
Yeah, and those are the reasons I like this issue. I agree the middle, I don't really know where that was going, but I was
Right.
entertained enough when I was reading it. But I like the beginning kill, it was memorable. And I really like the end because I finally understood where this was going. Because the idea of those type of women usually would be listening to a murder podcast. So them wanting to solve it, I thought was a really not interesting
Yeah.
twist, but an interesting direction. And I mean, you put 2 and 2 together. That's where the series is going. But to finally confirm that's where the series is going, it's like, okay, now we're finally starting to see what Murder Podcast is all about. So I like this issue. It didn't make my top 5, but I enjoyed this issue a little bit more than I've enjoyed issue 2, but not as much as I enjoyed issue 1.
Yeah. Issue 1 was the best
Yeah.
so far. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So now we're going to move on here and we're going to talk about, let's see, let's go with the Venom issue 252. This book was this is a perfect example of how I want a Spider-Man book.
Yeah.
It's
It's
got
funny.
great artwork. It's got good villains, good characters. It's funny,
Yep.
right? It just overall just a blast to read. I love the old style look of Doc Ock from the 90s
and his personality, because
and
his
his
personality
personality from
was really
Superior
Superior
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was, I was like, whoa, I feel like I'm reading Superior Spider-Man, but like a better version of Superior Spider-Man.
And it was great. And I just love how no one believed Dr. Octopus that this version of Spider-Man was not Spider-Man. And
Yeah.
Luke Cage knew it wasn't Spider-Man, but he's just like, whatever, because he just didn't want to deal with Doc Ock's nonsense. And it was just a funny issue, just really action packed, and just enjoyed it. That's what it was.
And to have Madame Mask at the end to keep that
Yes.
Iron Man connection with Mary Jane,
Mhm.
I feel like Alan Wing doesn't forget continuity. Like we talked about some Marvel books that are like, who cares about continuity? But there's people like Al Ewing, people like Rainbow who just don't forget what happened in the past. And I really like that about this series. Again, the art is so top notch and the secondary stories weren't bad. I like the other, I like the other version of
the Eddie Parker.
Eddie Parker.
Yeah.
And I love the third story because it's Ron Friends and Tom DeFalco, but it was classic Venom or classic Black Suit Spider-Man. Like it was good. I really like this series. And I feel ashamed for people who don't like change so much that they write off this series because I wish they could just not care so much that MJ is Venom and enjoy that this is actually the most Spider-Man story next to Ultimate Spider-Man that's on stands. If you like Spider-Man, this is a Spider-Man story.
Yeah.
But the unique thing about this book was that it was paying tribute to Amazing Spider-Man issue 252.
Yeah.
When Spider-Man became Venom. So Venom basically became Spider-Man. And I thought that was so brilliantly done. Like very creative in that way.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say, and then the Tom DeFalco story, it took place around the time of 250.
Yes.
And it was a story that you could totally see filling in the gap in that time period, and it fit flawlessly, perfectly, seamlessly.
I want to mention Zadir's comment here. Y'all talking about this makes me want to read it, but I'm afraid I won't understand. Honestly, I feel like this book makes it pretty new reader friendly. I obviously can't tell from outside looking in because I've been reading the series, but there's a new Spider-Man in town. They think that, she's Spider-Man. She's not. Like, that is the issue for them. Like, obviously, I think longtime fans are going to know the intricacies of why Dr. Octopus is really important here. But you don't really need to know that he was superior to Spider-Man to enjoy the book.
Yeah. Even if you started with, like, the issue 1, I mean, obviously this would be, what is it, when did it change over to the legacy numbering? Was it like
that
issue
gets
9,
a little confusing? Yeah. That I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
It was like issue 250 was when they changed it.
Right.
So.
But ask your comic book store to get you to the first issue and then read it through.
Yeah. So,
but it's worth it.
No, but it was a fantastic issue. All 3 stories were great, and it's just a fun time. And I always have fun with this book, and that's, I don't know, like you both said, this is the Spider-Man book that I need. So,
all right, cool, Neil. All right, so let's move on to DCKO Night Fight. This is issue 2. I personally really enjoyed this book. I thought, artistically, I thought it was a beautifully illustrated book, and I like the story too. I do like how Batman feels like he's trying to, I don't know, he's trying to actually like get a grip on reality. He's not sure if things are real, if things are, not real. It's the apocalypse, trying to talk to him. And I love how he comes across Red Hood in this issue, and how he becomes not how he becomes, but how they think he's Clayface, and just like all kinds of cool stuff like that. I thought it was a fun issue. I'm just going to get some water, guys.
Yeah. I like this issue, but I also felt like once it got to the Clayface part, I was like, all right, maybe it's getting a little too convoluted that people think he's Clayface. But I think the coloring really ties us together, and obviously the art by Dan Mora. But my big nitpick for Nightfall, why it hasn't made my top 5, is we have seen this story so many times. Like, obviously it's in a new perspective, it's a new costumes, but like they keep picking the stories for, Jason and Dick. They're the most obvious stories to tell, and I think that's a little frustrating.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I actually liked issue 1 a little bit better. I still enjoyed this. This is my top 10. But yeah, it was like, I don't know. I don't always love like the mind bending kind of stories where you're, stuck in your head or whatever. For some reason, there's a disconnect for me when those stories take place. So that's my nitpick. But I mean, I love the art. I love the direction that it's heading, because it's obviously leading him back to the tournament and everything. And it was a good book. It didn't quite make my top 5.
And it was pretty, it was close to my top 5. I just wanted to hit my top 5.
Right.
What I liked about it is I just liked, Brandon, you were talking about how it's convoluted. Well, I think Kat said it was like, gets convoluted. And it's just like, but I think it's meant to be that way. I think it's meant to
Yeah.
be to the point where it's like going to be all over the place, because not only is it going to kind of mess with Batman, but it's going to mess with the reader as well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you kind of know what's going on, but I don't know. It's weird. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Um, Obviously, this is the best thing I ever read. No, but I do like
Yeah.
how kind of on edge Batman is. I always like seeing Batman struggle, because
Mm.
sometimes things for him are like super easy and he's got it always figured out. And I
Yeah.
like how he just doesn't have this figured out.
Right. I get that. I
We do
wanted
have
to.
a
Oh, were you
oh
going to do
yeah,
the same
same
one? Yeah.
comment.
Go.
Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah,
Take the one.
but you read it.
Okay. Only you can prevent fire says, how about that Spider-Man holiday special that came out a couple weeks ago? That one was clean and fun. Yeah, we all love that
We talked
story.
about that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
think it's
think it
all
was
our
in all our
number
top
one.
fives. Yeah.
Yeah, or
I
in our
think
top
so.
fives, whatever it is.
I don't remember
I
exactly.
I
Yeah.
quoted it and I said it was the best. Oh, this is when the
Oh,
week I
that's
wasn't
when you
on the
weren't there.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did read your.
Oh, right.
We read
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
comments to.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
to share.
I
Yeah.
was like, this was the best Spider-Man issue that I read for the entire year.
Yeah.
So, and it's just because that's what Marvel Comics is. That particular issue is the definition of
Yeah.
what Marvel Comics should always be, right?
Mhm.
And so she
It
hit
was
that
grounded.
issue out of the park.
Yeah.
I think because she remembers character. I keep saying it, but she like doesn't forget continuity and she knows who that characters are individuals. I think sometimes in Marvel Comics they forget that. They're like they're a superhero, let him punch, But it's like no, Spider-Man's different than Captain America, Like they have different qualities. And I think Spider-Man in particular, that holiday special really highlighted how the Marvel universe is very different, but
Mhm.
caring,
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's move forward here. We got I think now we're on our number 3, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, number 3. So, Bram, what was your number 3 this week?
Mine was Fantastic Four issue 6, the start of that Invisible Woman arc, and I like that this issue, like this entire run, has everything that makes the Fantastic Four the Fantastic Four. It's
Sure.
got family, it's got humor, it's got drama, it's got tons of action, it's got science stuff, it's got villains breaking in and causing chaos, it's got the subplot leading to the main plot. I just everything about it is just great. The characterization, the art is fantastic, just so much to love. So with this issue, you have them battling these random villains that are trying to take over the Earth. That's just leading you to the Wizard breaking in, which is just leading you to Galactus. Just it's so fun, such a fun.
And you have the stuff with Shield too, which I thought was super interesting. I was like, wow, you're really moving the plot there and even connecting it to the event. And this book does a really good job with Sue in particular. They love Sue because she's been like the main character at every issue. But yeah, I agree. It was just a really fun issue. I'm honestly saddened we didn't read the last run because everyone was like, "Oh, so good, it's so good." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." But if it's anything like this, it must have been really good,
right?
Because I really like.
I read like towards the end of the last run, and there were issues that were pretty decent, but I did drop it at one point too.
Yeah.
So here's where I stand. Again, I love everything about the Fantastic Four. I love how they are a family. I love their interactions. I just can't stand Reed. I cannot stand how nerdy he is, and he just goes on and on and on and on, and that drives me crazy. Like it's just like, shut up, just stop
I say that.
talking, and just let's move things along with the other people in the book, And so, yeah, when he starts to go on a tangent about his freaking, I don't know, his space quest and the molecules that are going to, change the Earth's atmosphere and all this other crap, I'm like, just stop talking, Reed. Like, I don't care.
I think that's the charm of it, though, because I think that's how everybody feels about Reed when he goes on these tangents.
Except his daughter, but even so, I think he's like, well, you could do it this way.
Right.
Luckily, I don't think there has been as much as him, but I think maybe people know that. I really feel like, and obviously, like, I love everybody from the Fantastic Four, probably least of all read. But I
Yeah.
think most people love Sue the most, and I think that's why they've been focusing on her so much. And again, we all love Johnny, but I think we love Johnny with Spider-Man. We love the Thing, but we love him as the family member. I think we like Sue as an individual the most. So, and this whole arc's about her.
I love that in recent years they've realized the potential that Sue has and
Mhm.
how incredibly dangerous and ingenuitive. That's not the right word, but how cool she can use her powers in different
Mm.
ways to do different things that nobody ever thought
Innovative.
was possible. Yeah, it's like she's not just invisible and has a force field. She can literally change night to day. You know what I mean? And well, not
Yeah.
literally, but you know what I mean.
But it can
Crazy.
at least make people seem like it is. Yeah.
Like
Make
that
people
one
perceive it.
yeah, like
Mm.
that one series mini series that she had a while
Yes.
back.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, the way she used her powers, like cutting off the oxygen by putting a force field around it. Yeah, just different things like that. It's just incredible.
I agree.
All right, cool. I think that was Brant's, right?
Yes.
Okay,
It's mine or yours. So that's who's next.
you go.
Mine is Cheetah and Cheshire rob the Justice League. They finally robbed the Justice League in this issue.
Yeah.
Only to get
I
robbed
liked it
themselves.
though.
Yeah.
It was my favorite issue of the series so far.
I like how straightforward this series is. Like
Mm,
the title is They Robbed the Justice League and they
yeah.
robbed the
And they
Justice
finally
League.
did it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
please draw the Justice League, and they actually did it. And it was very creative. And I love how they really did think of everything in order to get what they needed to get to.
And I
Yeah.
like Leon having to choose between her father and her mom in some ways. I think that was cool. I like where like how you thought Cheetah betrayed them and it like ends up being kind of part of the plan.
Yeah.
I like how the Justice League react to it. And then of course they do get away with it, but then they, one of them betrays each other. So they're
Yeah.
like, okay,
I mean,
now we
they're
have to deal with
villains.
the
Yeah.
villains. Yeah. So
Exactly.
yeah, I really like this issue. I love this creative team, and I think this is just the definition of a very under the radar series. So if you're
Yeah.
not picking it up, you guys should, because it reminds me of the indie comic, honestly, just
Yeah.
plopped with
And
DC characters.
and if you just like heist stories, this
Mhm.
is a perfect like Ocean's 11 type
Yeah.
deal. And it's I love this series. This is what I was going back and forth with Batman, what I wanted to put my number 4. This is my number 6 then. So it's just outside, but I'm kind of regretting that. But I love this series, and it was just fun the way that it came together, and like Cheetah's wink at Leon and like that conversation she had. Well, you made your choice now, so it's that kind of thing, and just yeah, every character in this shines, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a fun story.
All right. And then my number 3 was actually the Superman versus Captain Atom book. So that was my number 3. All right. So let's move on here. Let's talk about I'll let you guys talk about Inferno Girl Red Book 2 issue 1.
I'll be quick with it. My
Mhm.
opinion is it's been a while since that first book came out that I didn't
Yeah.
remember everything. And
Right.
then splitting up like this, I was like, oh, am I really interested in this series? And that was my takeaway, is like, oh, it's not bad, but I think the release schedule is a little weird for this one, where I don't feel like I necessarily need to pick it up. I think the graphic novel releases would have been stronger for this, honestly.
Yeah, that's what they did on Kickstarter, right? They
Yeah.
did the whole
Mhm.
thing, yeah. So I agree with you. I think breaking it up, it loses the momentum. I couldn't remember half the stuff that happened either, and I was trying to, rack my brain, and then this
It's not
issue.
new reader friendly. They jump right
No,
into the
no, not
story.
at all. And this issue was like half of it was just like all action, barely any dialogue, and then the rest was so much dialogue and so much,
Mhm.
and it wasn't well balanced, so it was hard to get into. I like the art, I like the story overall, but I agree with you. I wish it had, been formatted differently for us. So yeah, that's it.
That's it.
No,
Okay.
make it. I feel like not a lot of people read that one, so
Yeah.
I made it quick.
Yeah.
All right. So then let's talk about Hulk Smash Everything issue 1. So we all read it.
You know what's a shame of this book? This is a book where you have to have the best artwork in the world, and the art was just okay.
I
Because
liked it. I thought it was cool.
I don't think it was as good as, again, an action issue. I think it was fine, but I feel like this is just an action issue. It's not. There's some story, like there's a little heart.
It's going to be an
between-
action series. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
I mean, it's
It's
called
an action
Smash Everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sold on that. And there's a little
Yeah.
bit of heart with Doctor Strange, but if it's an action series, like I want it to look like I'm trying to think of an artist that could be compared to it, like the artist from Detective Comics right now, or Daniel Sempre, or the artist that did the Suicide Squad. Things that are so crisp, you're like, whoa, that, or like a Ryan Stegman. It should be like amazing art, and I just think it was just fine art. I wish it wasn't a Doctor Strange issue because I like the dinosaurs better. I was like, oh, that seems more
Dinosaurs were
interesting,
fun.
you know.
Yeah.
I would agree, because here's
Yeah.
the funny thing. When I read my comics, I read Wiccan, Doctor
Back to back.
Strange,
Oh no.
and then I'm like,
And then
and-
this.
and then I like to, like, if I'm disappointed in a book, I like to go to a book that is that palate cleanser
Right.
or will be
Lighter,
fun.
brighter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I go to this, and what does it open up to? Doctor Strange.
That's
And I'm like, are you
hilarious.
freaking serious right now? I'm like, what the heck, man? And so I was so disappointed in like the first like 6 pages of this book, because I'm like, it's freaking Doctor Strange. The leader's posing as Doctor Strange. Like, why Doctor Strange out of all things? But I guess he had to get transported to the dinosaur age or whatever it is, right? But then once it got to the dinosaurs, I'm like, okay, like here we go. I'm not gonna lie though, like the Hulk lines were fun. Like he was funny. I like how he's like a Hulk smash this and puny guy this. Like we haven't seen that in such a long time. You forget how funny like Hulk actually is, you know.
And isn't it interesting that Marvel's reinventing the wheel in this regard by going back to who Hulk was, because it's been so long since we've had this Hulk. Like this is like different for Hulk, is just going back to the same. I think it'll be interesting when issue 2 comes out, because there's so many books in this week's cycle. So I'm like, oh, would I get Hulk Smash issue 2 if I have 17 books? I don't know, but if I had 10, I would, because I'm just like, oh, I want to see what he does with the dinosaurs. But I also feel like it's not a necessary pickup, so it's a little bit on the fence for me.
Yeah, and not just the dinosaurs, the meteors coming too.
Right?
Yeah. It is. I mean, he's immortal, so we'll see what happens with Hulk. But
I don't know. I don't know if he's immortal in this version. So.
Well, I mean, you know,
I guess every Hulk is at least big enough to be immortal.
If not, this is gonna be a really short story. But no, I thought it was,
it's an issue and a half. Watch, it's just like it ends on page 12. Meteor hits black, and that's it. It's over.
He's just like looking up at the sky. Hulk smash. Oh man, no, but it was fun. It was fun. But I agree with you. The Doctor Strange stuff was like, oh man, here we go. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with the dinosaurs.
All right. So with that being said, let's move on to number 2. And Brant, go for your number 2.
My number 2 is Venom. So we already talked about it.
And what about you, Kat?
Mine's Fantastic Four. We already talked about it.
Okay. Pretty cool. My number 2 was mine was the Batman book, the Night Fight book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I liked it. All right. So let's move on then to, we kind of talked about it earlier, the Wiccan Witches Road issue 1.
I think what's a shame of this book, as someone who is a Wiccan fan from Young Avengers, it's too much about this current Wiccan. Like, it was really hard to get into if you haven't been reading anything from Wiccan. Obviously, we talked about the dialogue issues too, which I did have a big problem with, but like taking the dialogue away, it was really hard to get into the series because of that. And it's a shame because you do not get a lot of queer-led characters. And Wiccan is a fan favorite. So to have something that feels a little weaker, I feel disappointed.
How did you, like, I don't know too much about the character personally.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to read it because I wanted to be like, oh, maybe I will get into the character reading this, you know? And I kind of was looking at, well, let me check out Doctor Strange. Let me check out Wiccan. Scarlet Witch is going to be the new Sorcerer Supreme. I have a personal feeling that all these characters have books for a reason, and that they're going to come out with some kind of magic event. to lead
Wouldn't
back
be
to
surprised.
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange going to be Sorcerer Supreme again. So I was kind of like, well, let me read this. Now, how was Wiccan overall besides the like baby I love you? Was he written the right way in your opinion, or was he
Mm,
too much? He's to me, he seemed very like, I don't know, he seemed like kind of wimpy in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, like I
it
don't know. That was just me though.
it
I
was a
don't
little
think
bit of
he is, but go on. Yeah, go on,
I
Brandon.
was gonna say it's a little bit of a backsliding for his character.
Mhm.
I think he's grown over the years to be a little bit stronger. Like especially we had that whole arc where he became this other kind of being and everything. And since he's been in space and stuff, I feel like he's gotten stronger. And this was kind of like taking him back years in his character development. This story.
And even so, I don't think he ever was at this level.
No, 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 no. He was always
Yeah.
kind of mild. Yeah,
Yeah, he was always maybe a little shy, maybe, and
yeah,
like he had a lot of trauma because the whole mom stuff, right? Like
yeah.
this
The
is when
Scarlet
Scarlet
Witch
Witch
stuff.
wasn't around, and when she did
Yeah,
House of M, that and him figuring out that was his mom. Like we have a big journey of that,
yeah.
and also like he is a character that it depends on who's he's bouncing on. Like
Mhm.
if it's like bouncing off of, because like yeah, Hulking is like a character he obviously interacts with a lot, but like his friendship with Cassie or Kate, like who he's talking to kind of shapes his character. So to only have Hulking feel very two-dimensional, it made it a little tougher. But I wouldn't recommend this series if you're trying to figure out if you like Wiccan or not. I very much just
No,
recommend reading Young Avengers.
yeah. There was a previous book that they had a one shot with these two.
Mm.
It was a more cosmic story, but that was a better representation of who they are as characters. I can't remember what it was called. It was a few years ago, a couple years
I
ago.
think I remember what you were
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
that was a little bit better. But yeah, no, he's like Kat said, he's never like the forefront character, right? He's not out there on the front lines or anything, but he has been written more interesting than this for
I
sure.
just feel like
This is a lot of drama too.
for a number one book for a character that's never had his own book before, I felt like they could have done something a little different here.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, him losing his powers and finding this witch, like
Yeah, I like the idea behind it that oh, you left Earth and you left, so the magic has abandoned you. I kind of like that idea. I just don't like the execution of it.
the
It's just a
execution of it.
show too, though. It's just like they're just trying to
Yeah,
repeat beats
that's
from
true.
Agatha. So I think, and it's obviously literally called The Witching Road because of the Agatha TV show.
Right.
I think it goes. That's what I mean when I mean that Disney bought this, so they have to connect it to things from a show
Yeah,
that might not quite make sense for the character in the comic right now.
that's true.
And I
So
feel like that's what they're trying to
now,
do
with
here.
that being said, who's picking up issue 2?
I'm good.
I
I'll pick up something else with Wiccan.
No, me
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So there is that one. So which leads us to our number one. And my number one is obvious. It's Rook Exodus issue 9.
Same.
And mine's Venom because I had a really good time with it.
Nice.
But I had a tough time, man, with a couple of books
Yeah.
this week for me.
too.
Like Venom was like on that edge for me. And I was like, man, I really like Venom, but I was like, I like some of these other books better. And so I could have probably had like almost like a top 8, top 9 be
Yeah,
in
same.
the top 5,
That
All
was a
all
hard
my
week. There's so many books, so that's
yeah,
why.
all my like top 11, 12 are really solid contenders for me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I did want to mention real quick Miles Morales. Did you read it, Mike, or are you not
No,
reading it
I'm
right now?
done.
Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
over it.
Spider-Man actually appeared in this book.
Oh, did he
Yeah.
really? He's doing a battle against Rabble again, right?
Well, Rabble and Miles are teaming up to take on the Assessor, who is
Okay.
back. So the Assessor that tortured Miles and everything, Rabble brought the Assessor back, but now he turned on her. So now they're having to team up to take on the Assessor. But Spider-Man got brought in by a Nancy from space, so he's got that same suit on and everything. So he appeared in this issue. He's going to be in next issue.
Interesting.
I thought that was interesting to mention. So
Gotcha. All right. So I guess that's it for the comics. So let's get into the most anticipated.
yeah, let's do it. All right, so there is only one book that's across all three of ours this time, but all y'all's books, as usual, would be on my list. I just wanted to be a little bit different this week. Let's start
I'll
with
say this week was a little harder too because there's the definite big books, but there's
yeah,
not as many books as what was this week.
right. Yeah. Let's start with Supergirl. That's a book that I don't read, so take that one away, Kat.
Yeah, this issue goes back to a character. I'm gonna read the description.
It's a robot that was
Yeah.
left there,
From the Silver Age too.
and
Like
now
it's a Silver Age
she's
story.
back.
Mhm.
And I don't know what happens, but yeah, it's kind of what it is.
I thought that was a really unique. That's something I really like about Supergirls. Like again, it's telling tales from decades ago and making it modern. So that seems like a Silver Age comic, and it's like, oh, how are they going to make it like a twist? So I thought that was cool. Got me excited for it.
Nice. Okay. I'll save Mike's number 3. I'll jump to my number 3, which is TMNT number 13, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And
That's
the
a new
reason,
creative team.
yeah, it's
Yes.
Gene Lewin Yang has taken over as the writer of the series. So it's they're saying it's a new era and everything. So we'll
You could
see.
be done, Brant, after this issue.
I know. I know. I'm curious though. I got to try it out. We'll see what it has in store. But
There's
yeah,
so many of my my webheads there that are commenting saying that they're not even giving it a chance. Like they're
Really?
just dropping it. Yeah, because
because
they
don't like the
love the
writer.
last creative team that
Okay.
much that
Wow.
it just it's a downgrade from what it was.
Wow. Okay.
You know,
I mean, you can't. I don't feel like you could say that until you at least read one issue. But
I agree
I
with that.
would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would, however, I'm not reading it though.
Did you like the last
I
No,
creative
you
team?
dropped-
I did.
Okay.
But I just know, like, I like turtles, but I'm not like the most hardcore fan of turtles. And for me, like Jason Aaron and the artist that was
Raphael
like
Abercrombie?
pinnacle for me. Like one of the best turtles runs that I've read and enjoyed. And once that team was announced, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't read a lot of Yang's writing, but what I recall, I think is a little hit and miss for me. So we'll see how he does on Turtles. I'm a little
He
nervous.
won a lot of Eisners last year
Yeah.
because I was sitting at the Eisners and he was like sweeping the
Right, he's
floor with
yeah.
it. So
yeah. So I got my fingers crossed, but I get it. I understand. All right. So moving on from that, we'll jump to let's talk about Transformers number 27, Megatron. It's his issue. He's striking back in this issue, right?
Yeah, he's coming back. And the big thing is here, I think they're going back because they want to rescue Soundwave. Soundwave was
Yeah.
captured in Teletran 1. So it's
Right.
like they're going to go after her. I can imagine there's going to be this big battle. Something happens with RC, though, in this issue.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't read that.
So
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not sure what that is. It's going to be something, I think it's pretty big, but I don't know what it is. So
Yeah.
very curious.
This might have to be the first book I read. Now I'm really curious.
Right.
All right, cool. All right. I'm always excited for Transformers. So that goes without saying. Save that one because it's on both of your lists. So I'll just do my other one, the N 2099 issue number 1.
they're just ending all the alternate universes.
The only reason that this is on here is because they're introducing 3099 in this one.
Yes.
and specifically Spider-Man 3099. So I'm
Like-
curious. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I guess they were like, we're getting too close to 29 now.
Yeah,
they're like,
exactly.
we got to go up 1,000 years. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
it's
I am anticipating this. However,
Yeah.
like when I do my top 10 most anticipated videos, I always have the book that's on the hot seat, and this is actually
it?
on
Yeah.
the hot seat. Yeah.
Not
It's like I'm
surprising.
gonna read it, but I'm curious. Like it could be like kind of dumb. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
and it's
yeah.
another spider character.
I know. Yeah, and it's like, it.
But it could be cool too. You never know.
I just how hit and miss and mostly miss the 29.9 books have been over the past decade. It's
True.
just it's like, man, I just don't even know what this book is gonna be at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Like I can't explain it either. I'm kind of like, oh, it's the only thing I know is that there's going to be a new Spider-Man.
yeah,
I'm saying far away from it because I have not really been impressed by a 2099 series. I'm like, I'm good.
yeah, I don't blame you. All right, so let's talk about Absolute Batman issue number 15. This is very anticipated as well, obviously, but on both of your
Yeah.
lists. This is the basically the origin story of the Absolute Joker, right?
It's so funny because this is like the one character outside of comic fans I feel like people know about. Like I have
Yeah,
a friend who she's always like, how is Batman supposed to beat this guy? And I'm like, I don't know. We'll find out. But she's like, he's never going to defeat him. And it's just so funny because like that's her only context is looking at this on the internet too. It wasn't like I
yeah,
showed it to her. It's like it went in her algorithm somehow.
it's gone
She has to read
viral. Yeah,
comics. And it went viral. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's like reaching other people. And now that voice is in the back of my head, I'm like, well, how does this guy beat that? How does Batman beat an absolute Joker? And it's only one issue. So I'm like, oh,
yeah.
like, why are they only introducing him here? Like, obviously he's going to be involved somewhere else, but why the long gap between it? Just interested. It's just
We'll
such
see him
highly
again.
hyped up.
Yeah.
We
No, we'll
will, but
definitely
it's
see
going
him.
to take a lot of issues. That's the
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
thing.
The way I understand it, this is who Alfred's been hunting for years.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it's
Interesting.
going to be brought to us. He's going to be, telling Bruce about this.
I feel like he's gonna be like a Dracula vampire thing. Like I think that's we're gonna
That's
lean
cool.
because also like
I'm
Scott Snyder did American Vampire, so
Yeah.
that's my guess. But
I'm
it doesn't mean
excited
that's gonna
about it.
happen. But
You're
And
excited
this is
about
going to
it
be like my shop is opening up an hour early because of this book.
because of this?
I'm not surprised. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try getting some other covers for it. I already have the original cover, but I'm like, this might be fun to get a few copies of.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some cool covers for it, for
Mhm.
sure. All right. And then the last book is the one book that's on all of ours, is the penultimate issue, sadly, of The Ultimate Spider Man, issue 23. It's about to end. What do we
It's so
think?
weird. It's so weird they're not ending on a 25. That's what I
Right?
think. But
It's so dumb.
they're ending on
Like
issue
you stalled
24.
it this long, just go to 25.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, I think one thing that's really great about an absolute or an ultimate universe, you genuinely don't know what's going to happen. So that's what I
That's true.
love. It's not Amazing Spider-Man where I'm like, oh, well, he's never going to die or whatever. Like
Yeah.
there's things that will never happen in a Spider-Man book, but here anything can happen, and I'm really
That's true.
excited for that fact.
Hey, maybe we'll actually get some Spider-Man in the book. And
That
that'll be
won't.
actually cool. I mean,
That won't happen.
That's the one thing we won't get. Yeah.
in the synopsis, it says that, they can't spoil anything. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
Right.
We'll see. Right. I
Right.
mean, it's about time. I'm curious how many pages like the last issue is going to be. If it's going to be like a standard issue or if it's going to be double sized.
I feel like
I
it'll
hope-
be double size.
I hope it's at least like,
Let me see if they have
one and a
it.
half, like
Yeah.
36, 40 page something at least.
You can look on League of Comic Geeks
No,
for the
it's
next
48.
issue.
It's 48.
48. Okay.
48,
So it is
okay,
double size.
yeah,
Okay,
see?
cool.
So that's
Awesome.
good. At
Yeah.
least then at least it has time to tell its story and
So-
close it off.
But they could have split it in two.
And
They
given
coulda
us
had-
issue 25, right, yeah.
25, yeah. That's true.
They could have released it in the same week. They could have just been here's
Yeah.
issue 24 and here's issue 25.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's
But
funny.
yeah, we're excited for that one. Again,
Yeah.
it's a big week for like big series, so I'm excited about that. But I think I'm only getting like 12 or 13 books. I don't think it's as big.
Yeah, it's definitely
Paul-wise.
lower.
I'm still
But I
getting
think
like
there's-
21 books.
Are you getting
Oh
21?
man,
Yeah, that's just what's on my list. That's
Mm.
not what's
Yeah.
there, I'm sure.
Mike's gonna walk up with like 36 books.
Like
And
I'll have
feel like
like
it's-
4 copies of like Absolute Batman, and I'll probably have like maybe a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I did put on the FOC now as I said I wasn't gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like,
I was gonna say you're
It-
definitely getting that book tomorrow. I feel it
Yeah.
in my soul.
there's
You're
all
gonna
these
get
number
that one.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like every
There's the one book that Dynamite is excited about, The Ordained.
That's
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 from Bad Idea,
Bad Idea.
Yeah.
Those distillery.
and that's from Robert Vendetti, who's
Yeah.
writing it.
yeah. The concept
Sounds
was
like
interesting.
a really
yeah,
good story. It really
Yeah.
does.
it does. I was just gonna say, Mike, from your thumbnails and everything. It looks like all your hauls are just like, what do you call them now? Fat stacks.
Fat stacks. I'm not gonna lie, they are that big every single week. I mean, there is at least 30 books every single week.
You get a lot of variants too for
It's
certain
yeah, a lot of times there's variants, but on the average, I'll have 7 number ones. There's always 7 number ones. That's the goal to read each week for worthy ones. And then there usually is 17 or 18 books left over to read. And then the rest is like variant covers and stuff.
I only have, I think, 12 books this week, so I'm happy with that number. There's been too many books.
Now,
And
during
again, they
Christmas,
look
I'm
good
probably
ones.
going to buy my books, obviously, but I think I'm going to take those couple weeks off and maybe only do haul videos, and that's it, just to regroup.
We should mention before we close out, we are going to be taking those 2 weeks off. We're going to be taking off the Christmas week and New Year's. We'll be back after. But next week, we are doing our top 5 best books of the year. So if you guys want to check out that video, make your own top 5, you have a whole week to figure out what your favorite books were. But we thought that'd be a fun topic to end the year off.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was just looking. I think I have like 21 books as well.
Oh, man.
So, there you go.
Big haul for you guys.
Yeah. But yeah. So next week's going to be a big show. Looking forward to it.
It will. Yeah. I'm excited.
And that's it. I think we're done. Just in time, too. My battery's like literally going to die. Let me check it. I'm at 12% on my battery on the computer. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you for watching another episode of Comic Book Weekly. On your way out, please, please, please give this video a like. It takes 1 second to do it. If you haven't subscribed to any of our channels yet, which mine is Comic Book Corner 2.0, Katz is Comic Uno, Brant's is Only Good Comics, please subscribe to those channels. It's much appreciated as always. And if you want to hit the bell, go ahead and do that. You can subscribe to the Comic Book Weekly channel also because, yes, you can watch every single episode back to back to back to back to back and just watch for days. Like, seriously. I mean, it goes that far back. So, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Good luck getting your Absolute Batman issue 15 tomorrow. Can't wait to see them. Yeah, enjoy. So, guys, we'll see you all next week for the last show of 2025. Take care, everyone. Take care.